Welcome to The Explainer. If you're the kind of person who loves getting right to the core of how things actually work, especially when it comes to optimizing your health, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we are unpacking a topic that affects every single one of us every single day, yet it's often flying completely under the radar. We're talking about gut health. But we aren't just talking about digesting your breakfast here, though, we all appreciate a comfortable morning. We're going to dive into the often overlooked reality that your gut actually acts as a systemic command center for your body. It dictates your energy, your mood, your immune resilience, and really, your long-term well-being.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. Section 1, more than digestion. 2, meet your microbiome. 3, the gut-brain highway. 4, habits for gut health. 5, the internal environment. And finally, 6, the power of consistency. Let's get to it.
Section 1, more than digestion, shattering the misconception. We need a fundamental paradigm shift right out of the gate here.
Most of us just assume our gut is, well, a basic processing plant, right? Just a simple tube that digests our food and soaks up some nutrients. But actually, scratch that. The reality is way, way more complex. It's more like a highly interconnected command center. Your gut is literally in there training your immune system, constantly communicating with your brain, and directly dictating how you feel from the second you wake up until you fall asleep.
To really hammer home just how crucial this is, 70%. Think about that number for a second. Roughly 70% of your body's entire immune system is physically located right there in your digestive tract. So the health of your gut, it's not just some minor secondary side issue. It is absolutely central to how your body defends and maintains itself every single day.
And yet, despite that massive responsibility, we usually just ignore our gut entirely. Until it starts acting up. Things like bloating, excess gas, heartburn, or just that vague, sluggish discomfort you get after a heavy meal. Listen, these aren't just random annoyances you have to live with. They're your body's check engine lights. They are direct signals telling you, hey, the internal environment is out of whack and we really need a little help down here.
Which brings us to Section 2, meet your microbiome, the inner ecosystem.
So what exactly is this inner ecosystem? Well, your gut microbiome is made up of literally trillions of bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms. And they aren't just freeloading in there. They're busy fermenting dietary fiber, regulating your whole digestive environment, and supporting your mood, sleep, and daily energy levels. This is honestly one of the most exciting, rapidly evolving areas of nutritional science right now. It proves we're basically walking around housing this dynamic, living ecosystem that works around the clock to keep our whole body balanced.
Moving right along to Section 3, the gut-brain highway, a two-way conversation.
Okay, so there's this fascinating communication network called the vagus nerve, and it literally hardwires your stomach directly to your brain. What this means is that stress directly affects the gut. Current research shows that when you're dealing with ongoing stress, those distress signals shoot straight down that vagus nerve highway at lightning speed, and they can totally disrupt normal healthy digestion.
But here's the crazy part. This highway goes both ways. Poor digestion affects your mood too. It's like a physiological ping-pong match. If your gut is out of balance, physical distress signals travel right back up to your brain. This can tank your mood, wreck your mental focus, and absolutely ruin your sleep quality. It's a continuous, real-time feedback loop.
All right, Section 4, habits for gut health, the user manual.
Now that we've got the foundational science down, let's get into the practical stuff. And let me reassure you right now, you don't need some exotic, wildly complicated protocol here. We're talking about basic, scientifically backed habits. And this brilliantly illustrates where to start. A diverse, plant-based diet. First up, we've got fiber. Found in whole grains and legumes, fiber is the direct food supply for your beneficial bacteria. Then, prebiotics. Think onions, garlic, oats, bananas. These guys actively encourage the growth of those good bacteria. And finally, probiotics. Fermented foods like yogurt and kimchi actually drop live, helpful microorganisms straight into the gut. Getting this kind of variety on your plate is an absolute game changer.
Now, beyond those daily staples, traditional ingredients like ginger and fennel really pull their weight too. Ginger is fantastic because it supports gastric emptying, which is just a fancy way of saying it keeps traffic moving efficiently through your system. And fennel? That's long been known to reduce the specific kind of bloating that comes from excess gas. Trust me, that can save you a whole lot of post-dinner discomfort. They aren't magic pills for sure, but they are absolutely fantastic earned additions to a varied diet.
But hey, remember, it's not just about what you eat, it's also about how you eat. Step 1, eat mindfully. Step 2, chew thoroughly. Why does that matter? Because digestion literally begins in your mouth, way before the food ever hits your stomach. By just slowing down and letting your teeth do the mechanical work, you take a massive burden off your gut. And that naturally leads to step 3, supporting portion awareness. When you eat mindfully, you're just way more in tune with your body's actual hunger and fullness signals, preventing you from overloading the system.
Of course, this extends well beyond the dinner table. Let's look at some crucial lifestyle fundamentals. Your gut, exactly like the rest of your body, absolutely requires movement, relaxation, and rest to keep that microbial balance in check. Regular physical movement, walking, cycling, whatever gets you moving, stimulates normal bowel function. Then you have stress management. Things like simple breathing exercises or mindfulness can actively calm that gut-brain highway we talked about earlier. And please, prioritize quality sleep. It supports your body's natural rhythms. Poor sleep disrupts the gut, and as we know, poor gut function disrupts sleep. It's a total package deal.
Section 5. The internal environment, chemical balance.
This brings us to a super important, though totally overlooked factor: the specific chemical conditions your digestive tract actually needs to do its job. You see, your digestive enzymes are pretty picky. To break down proteins, fats, and carbs properly, they demand highly specific pH ranges throughout the digestive system. If that delicate chemical balance gets thrown off, bam, you get immediate discomfort like acid reflux. Maintaining this sort of Goldilocks environment, not too acidic, not too alkaline, requires minerals like calcium and magnesium, and of course, adequate hydration. Water is non-negotiable here, folks.
All right, bringing it all home with Section 6, the power of consistency, building long-term health.
I love this quote. Digestive wellness is not built by a single change or a single supplement. It is built through habits practiced over time. That right there, that is the core takeaway of this entire explainer. Small, consistent, daily choices. Eating a varied diet, managing your stress levels, getting good sleep, and literally just chewing your food thoroughly. None of this sounds radical, right? But when you do them consistently, you create the exact conditions for your entire body to thrive.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one simple question to think about. What does your gut need this week? Seriously, I challenge you to implement just one small change today. Maybe it's throwing a bit more plant variety into your lunch, taking a quick 10-minute walk after dinner, or just committing to going to bed a little earlier tonight. These small, consistent habits add up fast, and your internal ecosystem is paying close attention to every single choice you make. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and we will see you next time.